Today we're going to be making a light dimmer knob using the dimensions on this drawing. The width of the dimmer switch, the cavity, and the length right here. First thing we're going to do is open up a new drawing, or new part. We're going to go to Sketch. We're going to click on the front, since we're going to be using a revolve. And we're just going to use the line up here in the top left hand corner and make the profile of what we're looking to revolve. And then we'll go back and add dimensions and constraints to make sure it looks how we want it to. We're going to want to go up here to the constraints and use parallel. This is going to be parallel to this. And then we're going to want to constrain this point to the origin. See, so we get that dark, and that means it's all connected. And we're going to use the dimension right here, or we can press D to dimension our sketch. So we'll go from here to here, and that's going to be 0.675. We'll dimension from here to here. It'll be 0.75. And then dimension from here to here. Make that 0.0625 for a 1/16 of an inch. And we'll make this a 1/16 of an inch as well. Last dimension that we have to do is the height. Right here. And going back to our drawing, the height dimension that we have is 0.4. But since we want to click in the knob, we can't make it the total 0.4. So we'll make it 0.375 to kind of give us that extra room. Press OK on the sketch. And then you're going to want to click on the revolve up here in the top left hand corner. First thing you do is click on the sketch, and then we're going to want to click on which axis we want to use, and we'll just click on this line of the sketch because that's what we want it to revolve around. And we get a nice shape like that. Press OK. Now we want to create the inside part of the knob that's going to actually connect to the dimmer switch. So we'll be using the 0.25 and 0.0625 for that. We'll want to make a sketch on the inside. Make two circles. The circle up here in the left hand corner. We'll want a right click, view normal to sketch plane, so we can put the circle in the right spot using the origin. Make your second circle. The inside, we're going to use 0.255. And then for the outside, we're just creating the thickness of the material here. So we'll want 0.255 plus 0.125. That'll give us, that's 1/8 of an inch, so that'll give us a 1/16 of an inch on each side for material. Next, we're going to use a line to make little rectangles on the inside, and that will go inside the cavity of the light switch. And we'll use constraints to make these about the same. So this will be 0.07, and we'll want to put this in the middle, so by using a point. So we can use the point up here, put it in the midpoint, and you know it's the midpoint by that little icon that comes up next to your mouse. And click on that. And then we can use the horizontal constraint to put that midpoint horizontal to the origin. You see it snapped right there. Then we're going to want to use the dimension to dimension this 0.0625, 1/16 of an inch. Then we can do the same thing for this side. So we'll need a point. Find the midpoint right there. Horizontal. And these two sides will be the exact same, so we can use the equal constraint to equal this to this, and then this to this. Now you see both of these are the same, and that constrained everything. So if we need to go back and change this, all we have to do is change this dimension and this dimension, instead of changing 4 dimensions, right? Press OK on the sketch. Then we're going to extrude, and then click on each part of the sketch. And we don't want this to go up 1 inch. We want it to use that height dimension, the 0.375 that we had before, that we used in the previous sketch. And that will connect to the light dimmer switch. But normally on knobs, you kind of have some sort of design on the inside. So let's add that right now. We're going to go double click on our first sketch. And all I'm going to do is add a little notch that goes into the top of the switch. So we'll do that with a line at a rectangle. We'll dimension this 1/32 of an inch, so 0.03125 and 0.03125, and then that can be 1/8 of an inch from the edge, 0.125, and press OK. Then you can see that we added a little bit of a design to our switch, kind of like what you see in normal knobs that you buy from Home Depot or anything like that. And that's it for the knob. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. Subscribe and like if you like the video. Thank you.